By the time you hit 65, your body absorbs up to 30% less protein than it did when you were 40. That's not an opinion, that's data, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. And for millions of older adults, that one fact is quietly changing everything. Because when your body absorbs less protein, it can't repair itself the way it used to. Not your muscles, not your brain cells, and certainly not the delicate structures behind your eyes that keep your vision clear and focused. Now here's the truth nobody's telling you. You could be eating enough food, even enough protein on paper, and still be starving your brain and your eyes at the cellular level. I've seen it over and over again. Good people, smart people, come into my clinic saying the same things. My eyes get tired by lunch. My memory slips during simple conversations. I don't feel sharp anymore. But here's what's often missed. It's not always disease. Sometimes, it's deficiency. Not of drugs or supplements, but of real, bioavailable protein that your aging body can actually use. And here's where it gets even more frustrating. As we age, the need for quality protein increases, just as our ability to absorb it decreases. That gap between what we need and what we're actually using is where the damage starts. You see it in your slower recall, your weaker eye muscles, that uncomfortable blur when you try to shift your gaze from the road to the dashboard, or when you read the same line twice because your brain just isn't syncing fast enough with your vision. It doesn't happen overnight, but it is happening, and it doesn't have to. Because today, we're not talking about pills or treatments or expensive powders. We're talking about 3 powerful proteins, simple, familiar, often sitting in your fridge right now, that can actually support the repair of brain cells, eye muscles, and the connective systems between them. I'll walk you through each one. I'll explain why it matters, and I'll show you exactly how to use them so that your brain and eyes get what they need to stay strong, alert, and clear. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Dr. James Porter. This is Senior Brain Vision, where we talk about real science, real aging, and real solutions. If that sounds like something you need more of in your life, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'd love to keep walking this journey with you. Now, let's begin with the first protein on our list. And let me warn you, it's one of the most misunderstood foods in the modern diet: eggs. And what they can do for your brain might just surprise you. Let's talk about one of the most wrongly feared foods in the senior diet: eggs. For decades, people over 60 were told to limit them because of cholesterol. But current science says something completely different, especially when it comes to repairing the brain and protecting vision. At the heart of it is a compound called choline. It's not a vitamin, not a mineral, but your brain can't function without it. Choline builds the membranes that protect neurons. It also fuels acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter your brain uses for memory, muscle coordination, and attention. In older adults, that's where decline often starts. Not in memory itself, but in the speed and strength of those neural connections. A 2020 study in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging showed that low choline levels in adults over 65 were strongly linked to cognitive slowdown and impaired visual motor coordination. The same study found that increasing choline intake improved brain performance in as little as 6 weeks. And where can you find it? In eggs, especially the yolk. One yolk contains around 125 milligrams of choline. That's nearly a quarter of your daily needs in a form your body can absorb quickly. But that's not all eggs offer. They're also rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 carotenoids that concentrate in the macula, the part of your retina responsible for detail, contrast, and facial recognition. These compounds act like natural blue light filters. They protect the eye from oxidative stress and reduce the risk of macular degeneration. A 2017 study, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, found that eating just 1 egg per day for 5 weeks significantly boosted blood levels of lutein and zeaxanthin without increasing LDL cholesterol in healthy adults. That matters, because it means you're not just feeding the brain, you're reinforcing the most vulnerable parts of your vision. Let me tell you about Eleanor, 71 years old, retired piano teacher. She stopped reading sheet music because the notes blurred, and her memory felt foggy. Her diet: low-fat, high-carb, and nearly egg-free. We made one change. 2 boiled eggs at breakfast, 4 times a week. That was it. 6 weeks later, she told me something I'll never forget. I played shopping again. No squinting, no stumbles. I felt like myself. Not a miracle, just biology and consistency. So how should you use eggs if you're over 60? First, don't skip the yolk. That's where most of the nutrients live. Scrambled, soft-boiled, poached, the form doesn't matter as much as the routine. 2 to 3 eggs a day, 4 to 5 days a week, is a good start unless your doctor says otherwise. Pair them with leafy greens or red bell peppers to boost lutein absorption. Add some whole grain toast or avocado to balance blood sugar and fiber. And please stop fearing cholesterol. The science has changed. A 2019 meta-analysis from Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health found no significant connection between moderate egg consumption and cardiovascular risk in healthy people. But that old fear still lingers, and it's keeping many seniors from one of the most powerful brain and eye protectors available. Every egg sends a message to your body. You're still rebuilding. You still care about clarity. You're still showing up. And your body hears that message, one yolk at a time. So if your mornings feel slower, your focus weaker, your vision a little off, maybe it's not age. Maybe your brain and eyes are quietly undernourished. And eggs, simple, affordable, nutrient-rich, might be the first real step toward repair. Now, let's move from the skillet to the fridge. Because the next protein we're going to talk about doesn't just support your brain and eyes, it activates the gut-brain-eye connection. And it starts with 1 creamy spoonful of Greek yogurt. Let's take a look at something you might already have in your fridge: Greek yogurt. Thick, creamy, slightly tangy. But beneath that smooth surface lies one of the most underrated tools for healing the aging brain and protecting vision from the inside out. Because Greek yogurt doesn't just deliver protein. It delivers a chain reaction, one that starts in the gut and reaches all the way to the brain and the eyes. First, let's talk about its protein content. Greek yogurt is strained, meaning it has nearly double the protein of regular yogurt. Just 1 serving can provide 15 to 20 grams of complete protein. That means it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot make on its own. Those amino acids are critical for muscle maintenance, but even more importantly, they're the raw materials your brain uses to build neurotransmitters. These are the chemical messengers that carry thoughts, memories, and coordination signals. In particular, Greek yogurt provides high levels of tyrosine, an amino acid used in the production of dopamine. Dopamine is essential for motivation, mood, and motor control. A deficiency here can lead to sluggish thinking, difficulty focusing, and even visual processing delays. But that's just the beginning. Greek yogurt is also a powerful source of probiotics, live beneficial bacteria that support gut health. And the gut is no longer just about digestion. In recent years, science has revealed what's now known as the gut-brain-eye axis, a real-time communication network that connects your digestive system, your nervous system, and your visual processing centers. A healthy gut sends anti-inflammatory signals to the brain and the retina. It helps regulate immune responses and keeps harmful oxidative stress in check. A 2021 study in the journal Nutrients found that older adults who consumed fermented dairy products, like Greek yogurt, had significantly higher levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. This is a protein that supports the growth and repair of neurons, particularly in areas of the brain responsible for memory and visual processing. Another study from the International Journal of Molecular Sciences in 2020 demonstrated that certain probiotic strains found in yogurt could reduce inflammation markers in the retina and slow progression of age-related macular degeneration, one of the leading causes of vision loss after 60. But the benefits don't stop with inflammation. Greek yogurt is also a rich source of vitamin B12, a nutrient that many older adults unknowingly fall short on. B12 plays a key role in myelin production, which is the protective coating around nerves. Without adequate B12, signals between the brain and the eyes begin to slow, leading to blurriness, balance issues, and cognitive fog. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that adults over 65 with low B12 levels experienced both cognitive decline and reduced contrast sensitivity, making it harder to see clearly in low light or glare. Greek yogurt delivers B12 in a form your body can absorb easily, especially when paired with a little healthy fat. So, when you eat Greek yogurt, you're not just filling your stomach, you're nourishing your brain, calming inflammation, improving retinal function, and strengthening the gut-brain-eye connection, all in one spoonful. But not all yogurt is helpful. Choose plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt with live cultures. 1 palm-sized serving per day is enough. If needed, add some berries or ground flaxseed, but skip the sugar and syrups. Because this isn't just about flavor. It's about giving your brain and your eyes a real chance to repair. Now let's move to our final protein. It's soft, plant-based, and surprisingly powerful for aging muscles and eyes. Tofu. And why it might be your next quiet upgrade in clarity. Soft, silent, often ignored. But tofu may be the most underestimated protein for seniors, trying to rebuild what aging slowly takes away: strength, clarity, and visual coordination. Unlike animal proteins, tofu is made from soybeans. That means it delivers complete plant-based protein without the saturated fat or heaviness that can sometimes slow digestion in older adults. 1 serving of tofu contains roughly 10 grams of protein, but what makes it special isn't just the number. It's the quality and the way it interacts with aging cells, particularly in your muscles, eyes, and brain. To understand why, let's start with isoflavones. Isoflavones are natural plant compounds found in soy, and they act like mild phytoestrogens, hormone-like agents that can influence tissue repair, inflammation control, and vascular function. In older adults, especially postmenopausal women and men over 65, estrogen levels drop. That's one reason why vision begins to decline faster after this age. The tiny muscles around the lens of the eye, the ones that allow you to shift focus, quickly begin to weaken. A 2021 study in the journal Aging and Disease found that soy isoflavones improved mitochondrial function in retinal cells and enhanced blood flow in the tiny vessels of the eye. The result was better light sensitivity, faster focus adjustment, and less eye fatigue during reading or screen time. And it's not just about the eyes. Tofu also plays a critical role in muscle preservation, especially fine motor control. In a randomized clinical trial published in Clinical Nutrition in 2019, older adults who consumed soy-based proteins showed better performance in hand-eye coordination tasks compared to those consuming only animal-based protein. Researchers believe the anti-inflammatory profile of tofu helps reduce microinflammation in neuromuscular junctions, the areas where nerves communicate with muscle fibers. This matters more than most people realize, because so many seniors struggle not just with strength, but with precision. Tasks like threading a needle, holding a pen steady, or slicing vegetables become frustrating not because of weakness, but because of poor coordination between what the eyes see and what the hands do. Now let me tell you about Linda, 68. She used to teach art, loved watercolor, but over time, her hands no longer felt in sync with her eyes. Her brush felt foreign, her depth perception faded. We didn't turn to pills. Just tofu 4 lunches a week, grilled, in miso soup, or tossed with greens. Simple, steady. 3 months later, she walked in with a sketchbook and said, "I painted again, no drops, no hesitation. I felt steady." Not magic, just daily restoration. If you're new to tofu, start with firm or extra firm. Cook it, season it, let it soak in garlic, ginger, or lemon. A portion the size of a deck of cards is enough to begin. And remember, it's not just food. It's a signal, a way to reconnect eye and hand, thought and action, balance and confidence. Tofu may be the quietest, gentlest tool to help you move through life with clarity again. Now, let's bring it all together with a simple plan you can start tonight. Now that you know what these 3 proteins can do, the question becomes simple. How do you actually bring them into your life? Because healing doesn't require fancy diets or expensive powders. What your brain and your eyes really need is consistency. Here's how I recommend starting. Choose 1 protein for each part of your day. Not to overwhelm yourself, but to create small, steady signals of support morning, noon, and night. In the morning, begin with eggs. Just 1 or 2, scrambled, poached, soft-boiled, or folded into an omelet. They wake up your nervous system, stabilize blood sugar, and feed the memory circuits of your brain. Eat them with sautéed spinach or red peppers to boost absorption of lutein, your retinal protector. In the afternoon, go with Greek yogurt. A small bowl plain, unsweetened, with live cultures. Add a few berries for antioxidants, or a spoon of ground flaxseed for brain-friendly fats. This midday support feeds your gut-brain-eye axis. It helps smooth your mental energy, supports focus, and protects your retinal tissue during the daylight hours when your eyes are most active. Then, in the evening, bring in tofu. A warm miso soup with soft cubes, a stir-fry with bok choy and ginger, or simply grilled slices with sesame oil and rice. This isn't just dinner, it's muscle repair in motion. Tofu supports overnight restoration. It calms the nervous system and helps rebuild the fine motor skills involved in eye tracking and visual coordination. Try this rhythm for just 3 days. You'll begin to notice small things, less blur at the end of the day, more confidence moving between tasks, a steadier hand when writing or reading. You may even feel clearer in the head, not sharper like caffeine, but grounded like focus that lasts longer. And when that happens, keep going. Because you're not following a diet. You're creating a pattern, one that reminds your body what it means to repair. This plan doesn't require perfection. It requires attention. One meal at a time. One signal at a time. One day at a time. Now that you've taken this first step, now that you understand how the right proteins can restore the mind and protect the eyes, there's just one more thing I want to leave you with. A reminder. One I give to every patient who's ever said to me, "Is it too late to turn things around?" Let's talk about that next. If you've made it this far, let me say something you may not hear often enough. Thank you for showing up, for caring about your brain, for believing that your vision, both literal and mental, still matters. Because it does. I've met too many people in their 60 seconds, 70 seconds, even 80 seconds, who whisper the same quiet doubt. Is it too late for me? And my answer is always the same. No, it's not too late. Not if your body is still breathing. Not if your eyes still open in the morning. Not if your brain still wants clarity. What you've learned today is simple. But simple doesn't mean small. Each egg, each spoonful of yogurt, each cube of tofu, it's more than food. It's a message, a daily act of repair. A signal that says, I'm still here. I'm still working on myself. And over time, that signal gets stronger. The fog lifts, the focus sharpens, the confidence returns. You don't need perfection. You don't need to change your entire life. You just need to begin one bite at a time. So if you're ready, try it. Give yourself 3 days, then 5, then a week. And let your body remind you what it's still capable of. If this video spoke to you, if you felt seen, or learned something new, I hope you'll take a moment to like it, share it with someone you care about, and leave a comment below. Your story might inspire someone else to begin their healing too. And if you're new here, I invite you to subscribe. This is a space for real answers, honest science, and gentle reminders that you are never too old to restore what matters most. Until next time, I'm Dr. James Porter. Keep rebuilding. You're doing better than you think.